OnShape Exercise 2. If you haven't completed Exercise 1, please make sure that you do that because I'm not going to review all of the topics that have been discussed in the first exercise, and you should be completing these in order. So make sure you start with 1 and continue through. So with Sketch 2, it's a relatively simple sketch, and I wanted to keep it nice and quick. The first one was a little longer than I wanted to be. So with this one, I'm just going to show you a couple of features in sketching that are going to make sketching either easier or just a few more tools for you to have. And then I also want to show you extruding with symmetry. It's just, again, another tool for you to use. So over in OnShape, on your dashboard, make sure that you're selecting the folder that we created with Exercise 1 and create a document in there for Exercise 2. Once the workspace has loaded in, we're going to use the Sketch tool again. We're going to select that front plane, and we're going to use the shortcut on our keyboard of the letter N to normalize that sketch. Again, I like to turn off all of the extra planes and only use them when I need them. This just helps clean things up to make it a little easier to work and have a little less of a crowded workspace. So we have used the rectangle tool in the past, but we're going to use a different type. And we're going to use the center point rectangle tool. And this allows us, instead of selecting a corner, this allows us to select the center point location. And we're going to select the origin because that helps us lock down our dimensions. And we're going to move outward till we get roughly the size we want, or it could be smaller, it doesn't matter because we're going to enter in the measurements we want. Our width of this part is 3 inches, so we're going to type in 3, enter, and our height is 2 inches, enter. So that, if it gives you the box to the left first, just make sure you put 2 in that one, 3 in this one. That is pretty much the overall basic shape of our part, but we have to add in a couple of arcs. And there's 2 ways that you could do this. There is drawing a circle first, and if I wanted to draw a circle first, I would use my center point circle like we did before, and I'd hover over this line until I get a node. And when it appears that it's in the center, so this one tells you that it's a coincident, this one tells you that it's a node, and it shows you a little symbol there for it being just a dot on a line. That lets you know that it's in the center of that line. So I'm going to hover over that until I find that little box appear. I'm going to click, and I'm going to draw out a circle. So this is how we would have done it before. And our radius is 0.75. But the symbol there, that 0 with a line through it, is asking for a diameter. The diameter is just going to be double the radius, so it's going to be 1.5 inches, 1.5, enter, and that locks in my diameter. And I could leave it at this, but typically you want to clean up your sketches. So I'm going to trim out that, I'm going to trim out these lines here, and then I'm finally left with the shape I want. I want to show you another tool that's going to make it a little bit easier. So the tool that we want to use, instead of drawing a full circle, we can just draw part of a circle using the arc tool set. So we have all these different types here, and we're going to use center point arc. So when you're trying to align to center, that's definitely what you want to use. So depending upon your use case, you would select one of these. So I'm going to select center point arc, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mouse over this bottom line until I get that box indicating center. I'm going to click. That establishes my center. Now I need to establish a radius. And it's best practice to follow along the line. And you can get it closer. It really doesn't matter what you decide for your arc to be. And once you click again, it's going to follow your mouse in an arc whichever direction you go. So we want this to sweep to the inside, so I'll mouse that direction until I get back to the other line and it is coincident with that line. And click again. Now it's asking for a radius this time, so I can put in 0.75. And my shape is pretty much complete. I should just clean up my sketch by trimming out those lines. And now my sketch looks almost exactly like our drawing. So from here, I just need to extrude. So hit the green check mark on our sketch. I like to extrude in a 3-dimensional view, so you can choose one of these 3. And we're going to choose our extrude function again, but this time I want you to select symmetric. And if I click on this, you can see that it goes one direction. But if I click on symmetric, anything I do to one side happens to the other. And this is web-based, so it takes a little bit for it to render. But whatever I do to one happens to the other. But our depth is still our total distance. So our distance is 4 inches. So I'm going to put in 4. And to preview this, this is one feature I don't like. It doesn't automatically update here. While that's still selected, you need to kind of click somewhere else inside that window. It's a little bit of a nuisance, but that will allow you to preview what's going to happen before you approve it. So if you had to come in here and, I don't know, let's say make it 4.5, you would have to click somewhere else to see that, but we want it to be 4. Click there. So that's the final shape. I click the green check mark, and that is our completed drawing. I want you to screenshot this and submit it to Canvas for a grade. If you cannot remember how to screenshot, you can always ask me, or I do have instructions on that in the assignment.